And it is now 8:05. Back to Bryant, Katie, and Al.
All right, thanks very much. We're all going out on the street, by the way, to take a look at the studio a little bit later, right?
Right.
Yeah, you brought your top coat?
I did.
You brought yours?
You bet.
Thank you very much.
Got my hat, too.
Are we going to need it? I'm going to wear a hat out there, too.
Oh,
You going to wear a hat?
Yes, I am going to wear a hat.
Okay.
You know, you keep hearing how cold it's going to be this weekend. In Washington, it's supposed to be the coldest day, I mean, in history or something. The coldest January 14th, I've been hearing.
It's going to be pretty cold. Yeah, we're going to probably set some records.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow and on into Sunday. It is going to... Imagine...
Good thing there are games on the tube.
I'll tell you.
Don't need to go out. Why would you go out?
Oh.
Stay inside and watch
There
football.
you go.
Plus, there's hoops.
Exactly.
Hey.
And satellite picture. You can see the leading edge of the cold air coming in through the plains. It is going to be rough. We are talking some tough stuff there. And as you can see, weekend wind chills are going to be brutal. We are talking in the plains 40 to 60 below wind chills, 20 to 40 below as you get into the lower Ohio Valley, mid-Atlantic states, 0 to 20 below down south. It's going to be dangerous. Frostbite can occur just like that, so you've got to be very careful. Dress in layers this weekend. For today, you can see we've got a lot of snow around the Great Lakes, especially the eastern Great Lakes, anywhere from 4 inches to a foot of snow from Cleveland on into Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. Cool even as far down south as Alabama, Mississippi, and northern Georgia as that cold front sags to the south. Some showers along the mid-Atlantic states, down in southern Florida. We've also got snow back through the Rockies, sunshine out west and mild through the southwest, cool as you work your way up the west coast. That's what's going on around the country. Here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.
A high wind warning continues until 9 o'clock for parts of the northeastern foothills. Winds will decrease slightly as the day goes on. Little breezy on the eastern plains, but look at the temperatures, 40s and 50s. We'll look at 20s and 30s in the high country, mostly 40s in the west, and a nice day in Denver, too. Little breezy at times, otherwise sunny to partly sunny, and 53 degrees. Then for tonight, mostly clear skies and 27. Tomorrow, another nice day, fair and 55. On Sunday, again, we'll be in the 50s and a little bit cooler Monday and Tuesday.
8 minutes past the hour. Now here's Katie.
Thanks so much, Al. Ken Hamblin is a talk show host on station KNUS in Denver. After 12 years on the air, he's suddenly getting a great deal of attention. Ken Hamblin is conservative. Some say his views are downright racist. On Thursday, I chatted with him during his morning talk show.
Let's talk, as we do each morning. Good morning, Denver. And good morning to the Today Show. Welcome to KNUS in Denver, Thursday, January 13th. And good morning to Katie Couric.
Good morning, Ken Hamblin. How you doing this morning, Ken?
I'm doing fine.
I guess the tables are turned a little bit this morning, and we're going to be doing an interview with you while you're broadcasting live to Denver. And I just want to ask you about how you feel about your newfound celebrity status. All of a sudden, I'm reading about you everywhere I turn. Why do you think that's so?
Well, Katie, I think that's so because, obviously, 30 years, plus or minus 12 months, of a liberal agenda has only served to trash formerly great cities in this country. We've reached a point where we actually have young thugs on the streets of our cities that cry and protest if, in fact, they find themselves prosecuted for anything they do. They consider themselves being victims of persecution. Even Jesse Jackson's had to back down, the sham of a summit they held. And you and Bryant and other people in the national media are responsible for the heroes you created after the 92 L.A. riot.
You have been quoted in the New York Times recently as saying, "I'm angry."
Yes, ma'am.
Is that what, are those the things that make you angry?
Katie, I'm a 53-year-old American who happens to be black. In 1960, I did grunt work. I had no status, probably I'm not remembered, with Brooklyn Corps in Greensboro, North Carolina. I remember helping with pride, along with black and white Americans, male and female, the residents of that area to walk that long path to the courthouse to register and vote. I remember America changing. When I went in the Army, there were colored and white signs. Those signs are gone today. It's possible for me to sit behind this microphone and as the mayor of cities and whatever else. I'm seeing that legacy of American progress being denied. And once it's denied, it can be easily removed because of a vested interest. Yes, ma'am, that is what makes me mad.
What changed your philosophy, Ken? Was there a pivotal point in your life that all of a sudden you thought, because at one point you considered yourself a liberal, yes?
Katie, I'm a Kennedy Democrat. I voted for John Fitzgerald Kennedy with pride, and after my experiences in the South, I took an oath. I said I would never be denied or allow anyone to deny me the opportunity to vote because it was my heritage as an American. The Democratic National Committee over the years, with failed policies, or policies that I consider to be failed and detrimental to my people, kept me from that oath. It caused me to break it. This last election, there was no way in the world I could vote for another 4-year term of radical liberalism, and for that reason, I pulled the lever for George Herbert Walker Bush.
Which of your views do you think can rankle people the most?
The fact that I refuse to accept the patronage of white Americans who treat us as though we're lapdogs and not with malice. I have a saying that goes something like, what did the liberals say before he crossed the road? Why, everybody ought to own an African American. You people are loving us to death. You must allow us to fail or to succeed. Let us go the way of the dinosaur, or let us go the way of the dodo bird, and if we manage to survive, we will go into the 21st century as healthy, contributing Americans to this republic. Otherwise, Katie, the legacy of New York, Philadelphia, Detroit, East St. Louis, South Central LA, the list is infinite, is going to gradually be permeated throughout this country.
To that end, you oppose things like minority quotas and affirmative action. It's your philosophy, if I understand it correctly, Ken, that African Americans will rise to the occasion if standards are maintained or kept high for them.
Think about the question, Katie. Suppose I challenged that philosophy where women were concerned. Wouldn't you see me as somewhat of a Neanderthal? Why isn't that which will enhance the image of women, the image of Asians, the image of anyone wishing to struggle from the mud below to the sky above? Why isn't that applicable to me? Is that another, is the very essence of the question another example of killing me softly with your song?
I guess to play devil's advocate here, though, some people might say, well, in some cases, women should have preference in certain jobs to right past wrongs, to right past discriminations, and to even out the playing field. And that might be the response by some people who feel affirmative action is appropriate.
When do we reach a point where feminism is able to stand, where women, because of the movement of feminism, are able to stand as equals on their own? When do we reach the point where the young black man or woman who's burning the midnight oil at Harvard or Yale or wherever the case might be, is accepted as a PhD full and legitimate for the effort he or she put into it? The doctor, the lawyer, or whatever the case may be. That's always going to be a question mark if we never consider a closing date for affirmative action.
You are conservative, but not necessarily conservative right down the line. You do believe in a woman's right to choose abortion if she desires one, is that right?
Katie, one of the other idiosyncrasies about Ken Hamblin is that, again on my radio show, men are not permitted to debate the subject of abortion. Men are barred. If a woman wants to call and she's pro-life, as they put it, and she wants to scold me for my position, I'll sit and listen. She can have children. If she is women's pro-abortion, I'll sit and listen. But men are barred from my radio show debating this issue because they can only come with a registration of ownership, not experience.
Ken, do you find you have a lot of support in the Denver community from African Americans at all?
Yeah, that's a very good question, because if you're in Denver, Colorado, and there's a black guy riding around in a red convertible Saab with plates on it that says talk, you've got to be here from Sarajevo yesterday not to know that it's Ken Hamblin. And I get too many cab drivers, too many bus drivers, too many black people on the street that wave at me and say, hey, Kenny, hang in there, we're with you. The black middle class is another group that must be forced to take responsibility for its silence, Katie.
Ken Hamblin, it's certainly interesting and very provocative to talk with you. Thanks so much for giving us time on your radio show to do just that, and I'm sure we'll be reading much more about you in the future. Ken Hamblin, thanks again.
Thank you, Katie, and best to Bryant.
A controversial man with very controversial views. Yet what is certain, Ken Hamblin has a loyal and growing following. In a moment, what Russians are saying about their future. That's right after this.